Hey guys, you're with Jane Eden, and I've been thinking a lot about family lately, not just my family, but family in general, you know, the connections and the meaning of family, the ties that bind us, and I guess the reason that it's weighing on me so much right now is because we're going through a legal process, and we've been in it for almost a year now, and it's not the first time that we've been here. This is more legal stuff on top of previous legal stuff. We did have an order in place at a certain point that said, you know, this is the way that we're going to conduct ourselves. These are the rules of our family and what we're going to live by with my son's dad. And it wasn't being followed. So I kind of said, you know what, we're going to have an order that actually reflects reality, you know, not the ideal situation that it does not exist here. We're going to have something that reflects what's actually going on. So we're in the process of finalizing that and kind of at the tail end of that now, but it's pretty exhausting if you've been separated or divorced, or if you've been in a common law relationship that's broken up, or if you've had children with someone and that just didn't work out. You've probably been through something like this and trying to figure out a situation for your kids that really works, and dealing with a lot of total BS with a former spouse. I'm sure that tons of people can comment about that, and please do. I mean, feel free to leave your comments below about whatever challenges you may have faced in your own family situation. I would love to hear, because we have sure faced a lot of BS, and if you want to hear more about it, post questions in the comments below too. I'll be happy to answer them. But this whole thing just has me thinking a lot about family. And my dad said to me a few years ago when we were going through legal junk before, I think that at that time I was a lot more emotional about it than I am now, because now I'm much more centered about it, and it's partially because my dad said this to me, and so I'm going to share this with you too. He said, you can't afford to fall apart. And when he said that, he didn't mean like, come on, suck it up, or something like that. He meant that what I have in my life as an individual, and for my family, what we have together, these lives that we're building, are so good. They're so positive. They're such a blessing, and they're so important that I couldn't afford to fall apart, because those things needed protecting. And when he put it in that context, that those good things needed protecting and that I couldn't rely on anybody else to do that for me, it was really then that I understood that I needed to get a little more strong in myself, be a little less emotional and carried away in all of the garbage part of it, and to start protecting what was good in my life. And it's become a lot easier with practice, like anything. But anyway, that's definitely one comment that will resound for the rest of my life, that one comment. And so I wanted to share that with you. But I also wanted to share with you one of the tiny little kooky things that we've done from time to time that helps us to sort of bond and creates an element in our family that just creates stronger connections. And I don't know how many people watching are conversationalists, but that's a pretty important part of our family, is investing in conversation with each other. And I come from a pretty opinionated family. We like to talk. If you haven't noticed, I like to talk a little bit. These videos get a little long sometimes because of that. But so one of the things that we've done before as a family is to sit down and come up with questions. And I'll show you, it might seem ridiculous, but having these little questions at the ready, and especially if we have company over, is like a really good way to start conversations, so that when you sit down together at the table, it's not like awkward or just people eating then running. You get into conversations and get connected. So we have these little cards that I just typed up on the computer. So if you could go back and change one thing that you said or done to someone else, what would it be? little things like this, again, I know it probably seems small and silly and ridiculous, but it's the simple and small things that can make the biggest difference. And, getting a little jar like this and writing things up on the computer, printing it out, cutting up these little cards, it takes all of like 10 minutes to do it. And you can use mason jars, whatever, a cup, and take it out, when you sit down to mealtime and start asking each other questions. Go around in circles and have each person answer that question. And it's really good to, as parents, like when your kids get a little bit older, to write down things that you might not feel so comfortable saying directly. Putting it on a card is like, well, it's part of the game. We all have to answer this question, and you get to deal with things in a way that maybe takes off some of the pressure that having conversations as a family when you sit down. It just makes it a little bit more natural and fun, and something that your kids want to engage in too. So anyway, that's what's been on my mind today. Thank you so much for coming and checking this out. Don't forget to hit subscribe. Check me out in all of the various places that I am, like My Average Kitchen, and we'll talk to you again really soon.